Yeah, I think James was inside the restricted area when the contact was made. And Virginia Tech doing exactly what they need to do, playing inside out. Actually, he wasn't. He was outside restricted area, but still moving.
So here's Ahmed Hill, a senior, Augusta, Georgia native, fifth-year senior. A 3-year starter before losing his starting spot late last season to Devin Wilson. It was an early substitution. Mile Baxter-Bell. Scotty James picks up his first guys quickly and has to sit. It's been a frustrating run so far for James, Liberty's leading scorer and rebounder.
Yeah, and I think size bothered him the last game, Lynn. And I think if you look at what Richard McKay is saying, the great thing about the Liberty Flames, they have an energy guy at that center spot coming off the bench that does a nice job for them. And his name is Mile Baxter-Bell. Lynn, you talked about it. Didn't have the greatest of numbers in the stat sheet, but he had his imprint all over that game.
Absolutely huge difference maker with his hustle and clutch play.
There's the big fella.
Nice.
Backdoor to Pacheco Ortiz. He's surrounded by 4 jerseys in this now. And then it's poked out of bounds by Nickeil Alexander-Walker. The play clock is at 7.
And Nickeil Alexander-Walker showing that length right there. It looked like it was going to be a nice backdoor play until he got a piece.
Man, great call, Landon, because I think he set him up. He wanted him to go backdoor, knowing he was going to get a hand on it.
Rebound is thrown in by Lavelle Cabell. Pacheco Ortiz, who can stroke the 3, has his pocket picked by Wabisa Beatty. And Cabell nearly ripped it back. Hokies fans wanted a reach-in foul. Here's Alexander Walker, who was incredible the other night. The sophomore, game-high 20 points in the win over St. Louis. He's hitting out for 20 or more in 3 of his last 4. Here he comes again, knifing through the defense.
Let me tell you something, Spiro. This kid has such a great feel for the game at 6'5" with his left hand. He can get downhill, not the quickest, but so crafty, and finish with his left.
Alexander, who came in last year with so much height, got off to that incredible start, 20 or more in 3 of his first 4 games as a freshman. It's only finished with about 10 points per game. Play clock down to 6. Off the dribble, and finally gets the Flames their first points.
And the way he did it off the dribble was to penetrate that defense. Up until that point, Virginia Tech doing a terrific job of keeping the blue shirts out of the paint.
Into the corner, they go to Outlaw. 1 dribble to create. And Outlaw has missed his first 2 looks.
If you're Buzz, you can't be upset about that offensive possession. The ball moved around, got it to Ty Outlaw. Fantastic pump fake and drive. He just missed a high percentage shot.
Excellent ball movement. Here's Baxter-Bell with the 3. Left it a little bit short, and the rebound is controlled by the Hokies. Virginia Tech, 25 wins this season. They finished 16th in the AP poll as Alexander Walker is fouled. Fresh off their first tournament victory.
Adam Zucker back in New York with the Geico game break. UCF is now on top of Duke with under 4 to go on CBS. BJ Taylor for 3. The Knights are 50% from 3 in the game. The coach's son Aubrey Dawkins has 30. Spiro, hold on tight.
All right, Ad, fired up in the studio. I love it. Winner of this one advances to take on the winner of that one. There's UCF trying to hang tough. Guys, what about that last sequence?
Yeah, during the season, you hear me talk about foot to foot. You've got to be able to put those 2 feet together to keep the split from occurring.
And for me, a 6'5" guy being able to split it on and draw a foul, that's phenomenal ball skills.
It's a 3-pointer quickly off the throwing by Hill. It's short. And now Cabell with the rebound. The Hokies, by the way, shot just 4 of 10 from 3 in their game the other night against St. Louis. Fewest 3 points attempted by them by any team in the tournament this season. That was 8 fewer than any game that they played this season. One of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country.
Look at the communication by the Hokies' help defense. And there's Baxter-Bell. The length bothered him on that one, but I'm impressed with Virginia Tech, the defensive presence and the communication and the help side. Well coached on that end.
Yeah, not only that, when they double the low post, they recover quickly to the opposite corner.
Hokies star Justin Robinson walks to the table, set to check in for the first time tonight. Last year, the handoff to Hill. Lost it on his way up. Loose ball, Baxter-Bell. So exactly 5 minutes gone by. Liberty just 2 points in a low-scoring affair. So here comes Robinson. Soldier missed 12 games before he made his triumphant return the other night off the bench. 27 minutes in that game. Guys, he started so well, looked like he hadn't skipped a beat. Didn't put up huge numbers, but his presence just changes everything for the Hokies. Good looking shot. Darius McGhee, the freshman out of Roxbury, North Carolina, quickly in and put his imprint on the game.
You know, he played some minutes in the first game, a little jittery, but I think he's got the jitter off. I love the way he practiced the other day, and he is a small guy, Lynn, but at 5'9", he has a 48-inch vertical.
Quick answer by Virginia Tech. It was Ty Outlaw with his first jumper. So a 1-point lead for the Hokies. In the dance for a third straight year. Their school record, highest tournament seed for them. As Buzz Williams and his staff have done such a remarkable job getting his program back on top. Comes the drive and kick. Good ball movement. This is Cabell. That's a three. Off the back of the rim, and the rebound by Blackshear.
Lynn, on both ends, that was fantastic. Defensively and offensively, moving that basketball and bodies moving on the defensive line.
Blackshear had it poked away initially by McGhee and bothered by Baxter Bell.
Well, that's one of the reasons both teams have the luxury of taking their time on the offensive end. You know, they'll run that clock down to the nub, the shot clock, before they work for the good one. Because on the other end, they know they've got the capability of making stops.
There's Gums. That's a three. And Liberty back in front.
Good basketball, and you see Keenan Gums knocking down that shot, and it's going to be a possession game. It's going to come down to turnovers and who can offensive rebounds and get their team some extra possessions.
Gums, a graduate transfer from Division III Schreiner University. As Outlaw's three rims in and out.
Well, that was a nice touch pass by Blackshear Jr. Just didn't knock the shot down. He's taking the double and, you know, making the double work against Liberty.
Guys, who does this pace favor so far? Good start for Liberty with a 2-point lead.
I think this is Liberty's kind of game. They just got to avoid the mistakes.
Baseball pass. And Justin Robinson with the easy finish.
I think I totally agree with Lynn. Both these teams I talked about earlier, slow-paced team, 349 pace for Liberty, 336 for Virginia Tech. But I'm with Lynn. It favors Liberty because if you're the lower seed, somewhat the underdog, if you can keep it close and have a chance, the momentum will be on your side.
Yeah, possessions are at a premium when teams play like this on both ends.
McGhee errant three. It's saved by Gums, but it's corralled by the Hokies and Justin Robinson. These two teams actually met in a preseason game back in November with the Hokies winning 86-70. That's Outlaw misfiring inside. Blackshear's put back no.
Again?
Three chances, making four. Blackshear again, and he's headed to the free throw line. 5 chances inside as Virginia Tech moves back in front.
This looked like Lynn Elmore back in the day, padding his stats. Way to go get it, Lynn, but Kerry Blackshear Jr. all over the offensive glass.
Adam Zucker in New York, approaching a minute to go on CBS. It is a 1-point game right now in favor of UCF. Taco Fall made it a 4-point game with that putback dunk. They reviewed it for a while to make sure no shot clock violation. 1-point game right now, Spiro.
Adam, unbelievable. As no doubt the eyes of the country, both of those universities' fan bases watching intently.
But you know what? I mean, it's not unbelievable. There's a tremendous group of guys playing for Duke, but they're still freshmen. And you got a more experienced team that understands the Duke system with a head coach like Johnny Dawkins, who's been the assistant for a long time at Duke. So, you know, the convergence of those two things don't make it as surprising as we might think.
And you also add in Aubrey Dawkins, the son of Johnny Dawkins, having a fantastic game. UCF
was terrific in their opening round victory on Friday. And the winner of that one advances to take on the winner of this one between Liberty and Virginia Tech. As we come up on the 11-minute mark of this first half. It's Darius McGhee, the freshman, tripped up. McGhee came into the game as Robinson is whistled for the foul and hit a quick three, among the best freshmen this season in the ASUN Conference and a key contributor off the bench for Richie McGhee.
And that move that McGhee made is indicative of what Liberty has to do. They can't just continue to throw the ball around the perimeter. They've got to be able to explore the gaps, get better spacing, and put pressure on the Virginia Tech defense.
Scotty James, who picked up his first foul early in the game, is back on the floor. Here's Cabell. Shot clock down to 3. He's got to hurry. He splits 2. Beautifully done.
You got to have some guys that can create their own shot, and Lavelle Cabell did a nice job of staying on balance, went downhill, Lynn, like you were saying, and got a chance to get a nice floater, which was a tough shot.
Yeah, you test the defense, you get more confidence when you have the success.
Here's Blackshear stepping middle.
He lost that one.
Lost it on his way up. You see the shooting numbers for Liberty. All tied at 10 as we are inside of 11 minutes left. Which of these two teams will be punching their ticket to the Sweet 16? Holmesley. Cabell again trying to split 2, this time unsuccessful. And then Robinson trying to pass to Alexander Walker. And another Hokies turnover as we say hello for the first time tonight to Roz Gold on Wood A. Roz?
Guys, I spoke with Justin Robinson about that left foot injury, and he told me it is sore, but it's not really affecting him on the court. More than anything, it's the 2 months, almost 2 months that he missed with the foot injury that's affecting him. He said his whole body is sore. On his off day, they did a game ready and ice on that foot. He told me he feels ready to go today.
Rise, great stuff for Scotty James. Hits for his first points. Robinson was hurt initially, that left foot, on January the 30th. Long road for him to come back. Missed 12 games. There was a point where they were unsure whether or not he'd be able to return this season. Oh, boy, did he make a terrific return to the floor as that time Robinson is turned aside.
And without Justin Robinson, even though they beat Duke at home, they only went 7-5.
Duke and UCF coming down to the final seconds right now on CBS. Good time here in San Jose as Blackshear misses a 3. It is Liberty and Virginia Tech. Two universities separated by about 100 miles in the Commonwealth.
I will say Virginia Tech has a massive height advantage. But when you look at the Flames right now, they're limiting them to 1 shot. 10 rebounds, all squared up. They're doing a nice job, the Flames, battling the bigs from the Hokies.
Shot clock down to 7. Holmesley's pass intercepted by Robinson. Alexander Walker, I mentioned his big game the other night, guys. Quiet so far.
You got to send somebody to him. He's got such a size advantage over Cabell.
Cabell trying to hold steady, but contact on the way up. And Akil Alexander Walker to the free throw line for 2.
Yeah, you can't allow a guy with that kind of skill and that kind of size advantage just to back your man down. Send somebody, make him give it up, and then scramble back.
Man, he was in the post calling the play. He said C. I mean, you can't allow him to be that comfortable, like you said, in the post.
First free throw is up and good. It's a 1-point game. Second round coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship continues tonight. ESPN, ESPN2, and the ESPN app. For more information on game times and listings, visit ncaa.com. Final seconds right now on CBS. UCF down to Duke with 7.7 seconds left. It's a 1-point game. You can see that game right now on CBS.
I like the way Richie McKay's doing a nice job of trying to manage team fouls. You've got a bunch of guys with 1, taking them out, just kind of spoon-feeding them minutes so they don't get any kind of momentum against them with even more fouls.
Here's a 3 by Holmesley. That was a familiar sight on Friday night. Career high 30, and Liberty back in front.
He was terrific. He had 22 points of his career high out of his 30 in the second half. He made every big shot.
Liberty was down 7 points in that game. Past the midway point of the second half against Mississippi State before they turned it up and came back. Blackshear has really been bothered underneath. Contact, and he's headed to the line again. Oh boy, nasty spill here as Scotty James looks like he's in considerable pain. Oh boy, their leading scorer and rebounder. And the immediate concern Scotty James was called for the foul, his second. And the good news, initially he's able to get up, but appeared to be an obvious discomfort. Oh boy.
He got hit inadvertently by Blackshear's elbow, it looked like.
The good news is that he's okay. The bad news, guys, he picks up his second and now has to sit again.
And glad that he looks okay. His problem was he allowed Blackshear, allows him to get too deep. Forced under the basket, Blackshear with the offensive rebound. You've got to fight guys when you're outmanned, and you got to push them away from the basket when the shot's being taken.
Final score from Columbia, South Carolina, Duke over UCF. And so the Blue Devils are through, and they await the winner of this one in the Sweet 16. 1 point Liberty lead, the champions from the ASUN Conference. That is McGhee. What a start by the freshman. Second triple.
You know, I just watched him in that first game. You know, you saw Darius McGhee, a freshman playing in the NCAA tournament versus Mississippi State. Didn't play bad, but didn't have that confident look. Today in warm-ups, he looks like he's ready.
Beatty from deep gets the friendly bounce. And a three-point answer for the Hokies.
I mean, Beatty shot that one extremely bad, Spiro. He shot that one that almost had a wedgie and knocked out, and that one fell in.
And that's not Beatty's game, 32% shooter from beyond the arc, but he's not a prolific shooter from that position.
Flames have hit 4 of their last 5. McGhee looking for more, and the freshman has come to play. Make it 3 threes for the North Carolina kid.
You know what? We talk about all these stats, Lynn, but confidence is something else.
No question.
He has that confidence going right now.
I was just going to say, McGhee belies the scouting report.
Boy, McGhee trying to swallow up Robinson. Hard contact, and Robinson barking in the freshman's direction. And now the players have to be separated. Intensity in San Jose. The winner of this one, Richie McKay and Buzz Williams, who have orchestrated record-setting seasons at both of these schools. Liberty 29 wins, school record. 19-2 over the last 21, and the Hokies first tournament win in 12 years. 25 victories on the season to tie a program record.
And both of these teams have met, as you mentioned before, Spiro, met earlier in an exhibition game for charity. And familiarity breeds contempt. There's no fear from Liberty. And I think there's an awful lot of respect from Virginia Tech.
An interesting situation now. Kerry Blackshear Jr. is out. And you can see Baxter Bell feels like he has a size advantage and drew a foul because they had the double. Mile down on the block.
It's on P.J. Horn on the pass. That preseason game that these two teams played in November was for the benefit of victims of Hurricane Michael. And it also gave these players a chance to get comfortable with each other. Lenny, you wonder how much that'll factor into this game.
Well, you know, they say familiarity breeds contempt, and prior to the last break, you had to separate the teams after a little bit of physical contact.
There's McGhee, who's hit 3 threes if you've just joined us. Basketball back to the Hokies. Well, speaking of the distance between these two, just up the road, as we have an all-Commonwealth affair here in the round of 32. At a 90-minute drive.
And I look at the score, and also both these coaches having them well prepared defensively. They're a mirror of each other. They get after 21-18. The Hokies are feeling a little pressure.
Med Hill, a little spin. Baxter Bell, the rebound. Had to play big minutes in the second half with Scotty James struggles on Friday. And now James on the bench, Liberty's top scorer, best rebounder.
But the thing about it is they know how to play without him. They beat Mississippi State with little input from Scotty James, and that's a reason why. They got guys coming off the bench who are more than willing to take the responsibility.
Darius McGhee, the freshman, has hit 4 threes in the game. Offensive foul, it's on Robinson. And that will be his second.
And let's watch this land. Good job, and there he is, the big fella. Baxter Bell is doing the same thing he did in the first game against Mississippi State. Energy, hustle, passion. I love the big fella. He can move his puppies, as they would say.
Ask him to utilize his basketball IQ is another thing that he's been able to do. An understanding of the game certainly helps him succeed.
Baxter Bell had it ripped away and taken by Blackshear.
Sometimes you can do a little bit too much. He's got to be careful of that.
Here's Alexander Walker with Robinson to the bench. The sophomore can't finish. A fight for the rebound. Boy, Blackshear's been all over the place inside. And the officials say jump possession arrow favoring the Flames.
And look at this replay.
Well, you see Cabell was that heel out.
Close. The referee's looking up top at the jump ball.
So perhaps a break for the Flames. They're up 6, and they've done their damage, gentlemen, from the three-point line. Darius McGhee has hit the last 9 points for the Flames. And Liberty as a team is 6 of 13 from distance.
This is a good matchup right here. Great kick out.
Holmesley in traffic. 8-point lead.
At 6'6" in his skill level, Lynn, he can drive it, he can shoot it. He makes high basketball IQ plays. Holmesley with a nice bucket.
Of the NCAA.
Coke is introducing new orange vanilla Coke. It's orange and vanilla and Coke and delicious. No, the young man Darius McGhee, only 5'9", but the young man packing a punch, and he is cooking with 4 threes.
Yes, he is. Came off the bench, gave some energy. He's the A-Sun newcomer of the week 4 times, and you can see in this game right now, 4-6 from behind the three-point line. Advantage the Flames on the bench, 15-3, and in part, a big reason because of that young man knocking down these threes.
Yeah, you talked about him being A-Sun newcomer of the week 4 times, yet he didn't make the A-Sun all-freshman team.
It's amazing watching him play so far. Corner 3 is no good off the fingertips of Outlaw. McGhee actually had a game earlier this season where he hit 6 threes against Florida Gulf Coast, so we know he can stroke it. But he is doing it on a big, big stage so far tonight. Here's Pacheco Ortiz. And a rare miss from deep for the Flames.
Guys, we've been talking about the offenses of both teams and the way they attack. But right now, Virginia Tech is only shooting about 28% from the field. You know, they were like second or third in the ACC in field goal percentage field goal percentage. So you got to give Liberty a great deal of credit for the way they've been D'ing up here.
There's Beatty on a drive. Blackshear, another offensive rebound, and he's fouled.
That's the X factor because of his size. If you drive and anybody comes over, all the small guards can't get in front of him. They're going to have to because he's getting these offensive rebounds. He has 5 of them.
At the 3:28 mark in the first half. The difference right now has been the shooting, as Liberty, guys, is a plus 15 from the three-point line in terms of points. Hokies got their first points in more than 3 minutes a moment ago.
Yeah, I mentioned it before. You got to give Liberty a great deal of credit. The only thing where they've been coming up short is keeping Kerry Blackshear Jr. off the glass, you know, but for his and ones. And I think this is the 3rd time now that he's done an offensive rebound and put it back in.
And I think early they have, Lynn, but overall this team size disadvantage against the Hokies. They're a +3 on the glass, and they're doing a nice job, you said, defensively, because the Hokies shoot around 47% from the field and 39% from the three-point line.
First time Blackshear is able to complete the three-point play on his 3rd attempt. He's got 5 offensive rebounds, guys, as the Hokies are able to get to within 5.
And this pressure scheme by Virginia Tech, you know, you would think it's to slow Liberty down, but they can't get any slower. They've been running this clock down to single digits.
McGhee from deep, a little bit short. He's hit 4 threes if you've just joined us.
It actually sped them up. He took that shot with 12 seconds on the shot clock.
As a shooter, you're Darius McGhee, you're happy, and that is a charge.
It's on Outlaw as Holmesley, who drew multiple charges on Friday night against Mississippi State, gets another one here.
Fantastic job of sliding his feet. He was still moving, Lynn, but he took it in the body. beat the defender to the spot, and he used that off arm to push away.
Yeah, he's allowed to continue moving as long as he's going in that straight path and, you know, in legal defending position. And what happened was the offensive player dipping the shoulder kind of breaks the plane between them.
Justin Robinson back into the game after picking up his second personal a couple of minutes ago. Scotty James still on the Liberty bench with 2 personals. As we are under 3 minutes left before halftime, the winner of this one advances to Washington, D.C. to take on Zion Williamson and Duke, who barely survived. Holmesley, way too much.
Yeah, I thought he could have got a better shot. He had a lot of time left. It was at least 8 seconds left on the shot clock.
You know, the pressure has actually sped them up a little bit. It's giving them shots, inviting them to take some shots that they ought to turn down and look for better ones.
Virginia Tech trying to advance past the second round for the first time since 1967. It's only happened once in their program history. Hard to believe. And right now putting a little run together with 6 straight points.
We talk about finishing halves, 2 minutes left. The Liberty Flames, you want to come out and being able to secure, at least get some nice shots and some high percentage shots. They haven't done that in the last 3 or 4 possessions.
Elijah Coffey on a 3. Flames starting to settle for some 3s here. Blackshear, a little bit of contact, no whistle, make it 8 straight points. And Virginia Tech answers back. We're tied. What a first half Blackshear's putting together. 9 points, 7 rebounds. That basket counts. What a strong move to the cup by Pacheco Ortiz, and now he looks like he's hurt.
Yeah, it looks like he's paid for it, but he certainly made the right decision. Took the gap, driving to the basket. There's the pressure on the defense. And I'm assuming that the call was because the heel was on the line of the restricted area. Otherwise, he looked like he was there.
First points for the Flames in 3 minutes, as Pacheco Ortiz still grimacing in pain.
And Kerry Blackshear was seeing him beneficiary of some nice passes inside. As long as he continues to move, he makes it difficult on the Liberty defense.
Oh man, on that last drive by Pacheco Ortiz, his eyes had the defender of the Hokies get back to the 3-point shooter in the corner, gave him an even more open lane to drive the basketball and convert on that and one.
Liberty Flames, fresh off their first ever win in the tournament. Champions in the A-Zone, their first year in the conference. There's Alexander Walker, denied by Cuffey.
Solid defense.
Flames spent the last 27 years in the Big South. First year in the A-Zone, they won it all. To get into the dance for only the 4th time in their program history. Do they have one more win in them to get to the Sweet 16 in D.C.? Kickball here against the Hokies. They'll reset the shot clock to 20 with under a minute left before halftime. Reminder to keep it here. AT&T at the half comes your way next. We'll get you caught up on all the latest tournament news. Highlights and updates will show you that incredible finish between Duke and UCF as the Blue Devils advance to the Sweet 16. It's all next on AT&T at the half.
And if you're the Flames, you want to run this one down and try to get a good shot. I would love to just open it up and let Holmesley, who has a lot of ability to get to the lane, off the dribble.
Holmesley into the corner. That's a 3. It's Keenan Gums, the former Division III star at Schreiner University. And just like that, the Flames answer with 6 straight.
Man, they can shoot it.
Yes, they can. And you look at their 7 for 18. Took a couple quick ones, like you said, Lane. Other than that, they are knocking down some nice 3-point shots.
Shot clock is off, 10 seconds. Robinson. Liberty out of fouls. Open look from Hill. Bullseye. A flourish to close the first half, as Liberty will take a 3-point lead into the halftime locker room. With March Madness Live, watch now, ncaa.com/March Madness, or download the app today. Let's get you our first half stats. The bulk of the Flames' damage coming from the 3-point line. Darius McGhee, the freshman, hit 4 threes over the first 20 minutes. As both coaches go to the blackboard, hit the drawing board, and we are set with a date to D.C. in our nation's capital for the Sweet 16. Duke awaits the winner. Spiro Ditas, Len Elmore, Steve Smith will hear from Roz in a moment. Guys, what about second half adjustments? What do we expect?
Well, I would expect to have Scotty James back in the ball game and try to at least neutralize Kerry Blackshear Jr., who's done a terrific job on the glass keeping his team in the game.
Well, I think if you're Virginia Tech, you got to get the ball in the paint, whether it's off the bounce or the post up, and being able to loosen up and knock down some of these open shots. And you said it best, the Flames got some kind of way there, -8 in the paint. Try to do a good job of at least scoring a couple buckets or maybe getting to that free throw line.
Two schools separated by about 100 miles. As these players trying to keep their dream seasons alive. Virginia Tech, 25 wins, tying a school record. Fifth place finisher in the ACC, their best finish in almost a decade. Look at Blackshear. How hard has he worked tonight, and where would Virginia Tech be without Kerry Blackshear to this point?
And that kind of froze them, allowing Blackshear to get the second opportunity back to the basket.
Yeah, Len, he did. But I think for Scotty James, you're going to get hit. You got to keep playing. You can't give up on the play. Even though you're taking a pounding, that's what happens.
Oh, I would agree.
Smaller defender, right? Len, he has to keep playing some kind of way.
You also got to give it back.
Shot clock down to 2. Pacheco Ortiz out to Holmes. That would not have counted. It's a shot clock violation. Roz spoke to Buzz Williams walking out of the halftime locker room. Roz, what did he say?
He said his defense has to contain the bounce. They're giving up the initial drive, and that's making their defense have to rotate, and that's when they're giving up a late three-point shot. That scrambling on defense, guys, is what he feels was giving a guy like McGhee all of those three-pointers late in the shot clock. He said it starts with containing the ball.
All right, we'll see if they heed his advice. Blackshear looking for more, and the rebound pulled by Scotty James, but they cough it up.
Yeah, Scotty James has got to be stronger. He's got to be a stronger presence in the middle. He averages 9 rebounds a game. Maybe not against the same type of competition, but he's got to be there.
Beatty right to the cup. First lead for the Hokies since it was 10-8 at the 11:53 mark of the first half.
And once again, he splits the defense because the defender coming over the hedge doesn't get his foot next to the foot of the screener and leaves enough room.
Nice job by Virginia Tech. You can see Buzz talked about an offensive and drive the basketball, get that ball, and there's a turnover by Scotty James. A couple more possessions, and Richie McKay is going to have to go to Baxter Bell.
He's going to go to him right now. I think Scotty James right now is out of this ball game mentally. He's got to find a way to get on the bench, and they've got to build him back up again.
Good job by Coach McKay, just getting a chance to talk to him, trying to settle him down.
Right, you got to build him up again.
James, their best player during the season, with touched on everything he's done for this team. #1 scorer, best rebounder, but just has not had it so far. Really struggled the other night. As Virginia Tech with 10 straight points and suddenly have a 4-point lead.
Boy, Med Hill had a defender draped all over him on that shot. I don't know how he found the airspace to get it up, let alone knock it down.
Hill, a fifth-year senior. And how about this start for the Hokies? And there the answer. Lavelle Cabell Jr. a chance at a three-point play.
That's the one player for the Flames that can get downhill. And you said it best, Len. Let's watch this. Great closeout, but he's got a chance to concentration by Hill to knock this one down and get to the lane. If you're the Flame, try to get some points in the paint, and Lavelle did that. And
you saw what Cabell did. It wasn't a rush to the basket. He got Alexander Walker on his hip and walked him to the hole.
When Richie McKay returned for his second stint as Liberty's head coach, his first recruit upon his return was Cabell. He was not a highly recruited player out of Mansfield Summit High School in Texas. And that young man has turned out to become the winningest player in the history of the program. Nickeil Alexander-Walker still quiet. And Virginia Tech's lead remains 1.
Baxter Bell did a nice job. His body on Kerry Blackshear, making sure he didn't get the rebound. And there's a nice play by Lavelle, being able to knife in, and a good pass by Baxter Bell.
I was going to say, how about the big fella running the offense on that?
So the Flames respond with a little run of their own. It's a 1-point Liberty lead. That's Beatty misfiring on a little floater, and Baxter Bell able to clean the glass.
And bring it up now. He's forcing Blackshear away from the basket.
And he is confident. They run some dribble handoffs. And look at the big fella.
And he got bumped.
He'll shoot a couple of free throws. As Baxter Bell, who has been such an impactful player in Liberty's 2 games here this weekend. It's on Blackshear. His first.
And that essentially is the adjustment Richie McKay made to get Blackshear away from the basket, keep him out of the middle, and allow guys to make their cuts to the hole.
We'll show your love for your favorite NCAA team with officially licensed fan gear. For the best selection of team apparel and accessories, visit ncaa.com/shop. So excited to have you with us, San Jose. What a sight this has been this week, with 3 upsets on our Friday slate. Liberty hoping for one more upset as the winner of this one advances to D.C., where Mike Krzyzewski and Duke will be waiting. 3-pointer from Hill, no good, and Cabell able to track it down in the corner.
Flames are up 3, and once again, Baxter Bell running the point, going through his leg. He is feeling good, Lynn. A little shake and wiggle in his game.
You go to the well till it's dry.
3-pointer from Cabell won't go, and the rebound cleared by Outlaw.
I love the fans to notice that the Liberty Flames, in my opinion, are not sending anybody to the offensive glass. They are defending against easy, fast break points. They don't want to give up easy ones against Virginia Tech.
Baxter Bell trying to hold, and he does. Well played defensively on the block.
He held his ground and forced Blackshear to kind of fade off of that shot. That's why it came up short.
Blackshear has taken 15 shots, 5 of 15. There's 11 points and 8 rebounds, 6 off the offensive glass.
I like him posting up. He has a good feel. Look at the pass.
Mosley to find underneath. Baxter Bell is fouled. It's on Hill. And Mayo Baxter Bell back to the free throw line when we come back. High intensity here in San Jose. And Infinity are taking a timeout to fight cancer with Infinity's $1 million donation to the American Cancer Society. This is an Infinity timeout for the win. You can learn more at infinitytimeout.com. Long relationship between these 2 men. For more on that, we check in once again with Rise.
Spiro, when Richie McKay and Buzz Williams met almost 20 years ago as young assistant coaches, they did not like each other. They clashed. Coach McKay told me today he found Buzz to be cocky. He had a chip on his shoulder. But guys, nearly 2 decades later, and the 2 have grown so much in their relationship and respect, they even collaborated this November to have Liberty and Virginia Tech play an exhibition game benefiting victims of Hurricane Michael. And today, Coach McKay told me he admires how Buzz helps out other people out of his own pocket, other coaches. He called him a gem. He said, I really like Buzz. I also really want to beat him.
Rise, great story. Roman Stubbs of the Washington Post had a great piece on that. Richie McKay, with that heated exchange with the head coach of New Mexico, as Outlaw hits a 3. And Virginia Tech able to find the bottom of the cup again. Buzz was an assistant coach at Colorado State. They had that little heated moment during a game that they were coaching. And a couple of years later, we're actually seated next to each other on a plane coming back from a recruiting event in Georgia, and kind of hit it off, and that's where the friendship began. And they have gotten very, very close over the last couple of years. Who would ever have thought that they would be sharing this stage with a potential Sweet 16 trip hanging in the balance? Blackshear taking contact again. 13 points, we are tied.
Good post entry, right on time, and Blackshear did a nice job. Went middle, sold it, came back hard this time to the baseline with a nice hook.
Yeah, the first thing he did, though, was get excellent position. So by the time the pass came to him, he was already dug in point-blank range.
This is Cuffey on a 3. He buries it.
The point center, Mayo Baxter Bell, doing it all. Big fellas running the point for the Liberty Flames.
Boy, Elijah Cuffey, 43% from beyond the arc. That's what he likes to do.
That was 3rd best in the ASUN this season. Outlaw back-to-back 3s for Virginia Tech.
Speaking of 3-point shooters,
Yeah, he flat out can shoot it. Ty Outlaw shooting 46% for Virginia Tech.
Ken Pom had Outlaw as the 29th most efficient three-point shooter in America this season. And he has found his stroke.
Well, 8 out of his 10 attempts have been from beyond the arc. So he's had plenty of practice.
McGhee misfires on that. We're just under 7 minutes gone by. What a pass! Inside Blackshear, wide open. Alexander Walker dropping a dime.
Let me tell you a big reason why. Ty Outlaw has knocked down 2 threes. His defender did not come off and sink down to help on the roll with the big. Wide open for a nice layup.
Liberty so lethal with that three-point shooting in the first half as Baxter Bell has his pocket picked. A steal by Hill. Here comes Robinson in the open floor. Contact, nearly win. As Justin Robinson will shoot a couple of free throws.
Yeah, good active hands by Virginia Tech's defense. But here on the offensive end, the double team off the screen. Blackshear slips it, and the back line, no one closes up on the post, or closes up in the paint, so to speak, to be able to take that away.
So here is Robinson, 82% free throw shooter on the season. And it's a 3-point Virginia Tech lead. Oh, real questions, real answers. Join Bleacher Report's Taylor Rooks as she interviews the world's most exciting athletes and celebrities. Take it there with Taylor Rooks. It premieres Wednesday, April the 3rd on the BR app.
So the substitution. Scotty James back in the ball game, replacing Baxter Bell. You see Liberty go to another offense as opposed to having Baxter Bell, you know, kind of play point center.
Coach McKay doing a nice job trying to find a way to see if he can get Scotty down on the block.
Yeah, it's kind of now or never for Scotty James, in my opinion.
Cabell lost the handle. Here comes Alexander Walker behind the back. Everything but the finish. Offensive rebound, and then James denying Hill. Still 28 seconds to shoot.
Even Hill said good block to Scotty James. You got to love that.
Yeah,
Hill said good block.
Good recovery by them, though, on that turnover to get back and bother the first shot and then block the second.
Bell has done a nice job against Alexander Walker. Just 1 of 5, 4 points. He had 20 in their last outing.
Alexander Walker, boy, he lost the handle. Just couldn't squeeze it on his way to the rack.
It looked like he tried to cuff it and dunk it, and his cuff came apart.
Kept it in his left hand the entire time. Couldn't get a little touch balance with the right hand. It was tied up, and he missed that one.
Flames down 3, fresh off their first ever win in the tournament. Here on Friday night, ASUN champions. The kick out pass into the hands of Alexander Walker. Hill left open, pump fakes. Knocks down another 3. 6-point lead.
Was it Hill talking to you?
Yeah, I think he was talking to us. He was talking to somebody. He's excited. Young fella knocking it down.
9 straight points for the Hokies. Here comes Cabell, contact before the shot attempt. As we'll get a timeout. Virginia Tech starting to flex their muscles here on TBS.
I think that was to you, Smitty.
A look at our tournament summary. 11-13 to play here, second half. Virginia Tech opening up a 6-point lead. Duke barely surviving. They advance to the Sweet 16 and now await the winner of this one between Virginia Tech and Liberty. North Carolina big over Washington earlier today. As March Madness, gentlemen, continues. Our tournament summary presented by Dove Men Care Plus.
The story of this game in the second half has been turnovers, as Liberty has turned the ball over 6 times, and Virginia Tech has done a terrific job, points off turnovers.
The other big difference between the first and second half, guys, Liberty in the first half was 7 of 18 from deep. They're only 1 of 3 since here, with just under 9 minutes gone by in the second half.
And for Virginia Tech, 4 of 6. And Ty Outlaw knocking down a couple of those. That three-point shot has definitely helped Virginia Tech.
Shot clock down to 7. Pacheco Ortiz into the corner now to Holmesley. Across the floor to Gums. Pacheco Ortiz has to rush. Off balance. Offensive rebound. James just couldn't finish. Roz listening in on that last Liberty timeout huddle. Roz, what did you hear?
Coach McKay stressed to his team taking care of the ball. He said, stop turning it over. We can't beat a team playing this way. He said, you guys are stagnant on offense. Move.
All right, Roz, James is called for a blocking foul here. That'll be his third. And quickly, Mile Baxter-Bell will check back into the game. James just has not been able to get going, hasn't been able to stay on the floor. Foul trouble early in this game. And also Lavelle Cabell Jr. will check back in. Keenan Gums to the bench.
Yeah, Scotty James is just struggling right now defensively. Just can't get his rhythm land on offense or on defense. And luckily for the Flames, you have Mile Baxter-Bell playing well.
Well, think about it, though. He's been playing against big men from the SEC as well as the ACC, and they're obviously a higher caliber of bigs than he might come up against on a daily basis in the A-Sun.
Justin Robinson makes it an 11-0 run for Virginia Tech, and right now the Flames are on the ropes. We hit the 10-minute mark halfway through the second half with a Sweet 16 date with Duke on the line. No field goals for Liberty in more than 4 minutes.
Now they're getting careless. Baxter-Bell just took his eye off of that. Turned it over again.
Robinson will reset as the Hokies have restored order, at least for the moment. We're down 3 points at halftime. Robinson fouled by McGhee. And at the 9:39 mark, that is the second on the freshman. There's Richie McKay, 53-year-old Indianapolis native. Only his second trip to the NCAA tournament. Took New Mexico into the dance in 2005. Second stint as Liberty's head coach. Orchestrating a record-setting season with a school record 29 wins. Blackshear.
He asked for that one. He said clear out. Baxter-Bell did a nice job of making him fade away, going away from the basket, not towards.
Well, he knows that he's not going to move him. He tried that already.
Holmesley's three short, and then it's last touched by Blackshear, who can't believe the call. So the shot clock resets to 30 here. Just over 9 minutes gone by. Buzz Williams, what a 5-year run it's been for him in Blacksburg. Furthest Williams has been in the tournament, that run with Marquette back in 2013. Here's McGhee from deep. Got it! His 5th three of the night. Quick timeout by Liberty, their first points in 5 minutes.
The Flames needed that one, and look how deep the freshman knocked that one down. Cut the lead.
All with breast cancer. The family choosing to forego chemotherapy and surgery to go a more natural path, and so far so good. She's made the trip here to San Jose for their first tournament appearance since 2013. The group and the entire university has rallied around the family. Such an incredibly close-knit group. And just an amazing story with a lot on his mind. We are thinking about the family as they are hoping for some more tournament magic here. Down 5 points.
Yeah, Spiro, definitely prayers to the family. You see, getting a chance here to come support her husband, and he's supporting her as well.
Virginia Tech looking awfully strong so far in the second half. They were down 3 points if you've just joined us. Up 5 as we cross the 9-minute mark. Beautiful drive, but Alexander Walker couldn't put it down. He has struggled tonight after going for 20 here in their victory over St. Louis. He's 1 for 7.
And a couple easy layups, especially that one. Just shot that one short.
Both teams' biggest lead tonight, 8 points. It's a Liberty does not look like the same team since halftime. Cabell the drive and kick. McGhee. That's a rare miss for the freshman tonight. McGhee, if you've just joined us, all 5 of his makes in this game from distance.
It was really good execution, though. Played 5 out, drove, and kicked. Just couldn't knock down the open shot. That's what Liberty has to do. But it all begins on this end if Liberty is going to keep this thing close.
And I also think Cabell's trying to be the guy. He's the one guy that can break down the defense. And as we go to break, Virginia Tech up 5 with about 8 minutes left.
Summary, Virginia Tech erasing a 3-point halftime deficit right now with a 5-point lead just past the 8-minute mark. Gentlemen, what stands out?
Well, when you look at the bench points, Liberty 25 points from their bench, and even though they haven't been as effective here in the second half, and the ineffectiveness of Virginia Tech's bench, they've had to play 3 guys 30 minutes right now and a couple of guys 24 and 21 minutes. If this gets close down the stretch, you wonder how much Virginia Tech will have left as opposed to the effectiveness of Liberty's bench, where they can shuttle guys in and out and not lose anything.
And I look at it laying right now for Virginia Tech in this second half. They've been able to collapse the defense somewhat off the bounce, and also because of Blackshear and knock down some 3-point shots by Ty Outlaw in particular.
Two schools separated by about 97 miles. Liberty out of Lynchburg, Virginia, champions in the ASUN this season, their first year in the conference. As Holmesley goes down low to James, and he is fouled. But anything James can give them from this point on will just be an added bonus. And that's 2 points. He's fouled by Blackshear.
That's a great example of building Scotty James up. Continue to tell him that, you know, you're still a good player. You're not having the night that you'd like to, but it doesn't mean you quit here. Let's get in there and let's get something done. And then going right to him. That's got to build his confidence now on the other end, because certainly his team needs it.
James, a transfer from Bradley, who averaged 15 points from February 1st on. Let's get more on him now with Roz.
Hey guys, I spoke with Coach McKay about Scotty James before the game. He told me, first of all, do not only look at his effort as far as his points. A lot of times the way the other team is defending him opens up other things for us, but he is not shying away from challenging his star player. He said before the game, I'm expecting Scotty James to have a better game today. And then in the huddles, I've seen him challenge him, speak directly to him, and ask him to step up.
Yeah, they need him. Scotty James, their leading scorer. He didn't play well the first game, even though they won that game. I think in this game he came out and it was too much him versus Blackshear. I think Scotty James right now is going to set picks, do the little things, and then just have a little fun. He's not smiling, Lynn. He's all wound up with this game. He's tight.
They need him to do what he did on that end. That's Blackshear off the glass.
3-pointer from Holmesley, a little bit too strong. Richie McKay says that James empties his tank every single night. Trying to get his game going finally. Robinson on the sleight of hand changes direction. What a big basket that is to make it a 5-point lead. First points for Virginia Tech in nearly 4 minutes.
The ball is important, Lynn. Everybody left the ball, and Robinson got an easy layup.
Yeah, they expected him to hit the roll man, etc., but it all began with another split of the double team.
James is fouled on the catch attempt. Blackshear around the back.
Let's watch it. He comes off.
There's a split.
Look at Blackshear. No one's there, and you can see Scotty James trying to get back to his guy. You got to see man and ball. James with his back toward the ball.
Second game for Robinson after missing those 12 games with a left foot injury. Cabell from deep. Not even close, and the rebound cleared by Outlaw. Again, that 3-point shooting for Liberty, such a huge story in the first half. They have missed 7 of their last 8 shots overall, and they're 2 of 8 from deep since the intermission. That pass is stolen by Cabell. He got the deflection. James the loose ball.
And a nice hard hedge by Scotty James forced Robinson to pick the ball up, and that's how you get the deflection.
Liberty 19-2 in their last 21 games in the dance for the 4th time ever. Right now down 5 with under 6 left. Holmes off the bounce. This hasn't been the same player that we saw Friday night. He's now 2 of 7.
On that play, he didn't let it flow. Spiro kind of aimed it because it was a close shot. He got in between. You just still got to go up there and shoot that one with your natural flow.
He didn't use the glass. See, 45-degree angle. Use that window. That way you don't have to pull the shot.
Blackshear. Back toward Robinson, who runs out of real estate. Out of Hill. Shot clock down to 5. Back to their playmaker. Robinson on a 3 short. Rebound McGhee.
He had a little time to put it on the floor, maybe in 1 or 2 dribbles and get in a good position.
No field goals for Liberty in more than 4 minutes. Where do they turn here for offense?
You got to do the same thing. Drive the gap, look for the three. And if they don't step up when you're driving the gaps, take it to the basket. There's too much reliance on three right now.
Flames have scored 17 points. That's it in the second half.
And if you're Rich McKay, you're one of your guys to play better, but they're still only down 5.
Traveling violation. To be able to hold defensively against the Med Hill. It's only the 7th turnover committed by Virginia Tech.
The door is still cracked open for Liberty. They got to find a way to walk through it as Virginia Tech keeps leaving it open for them.
Liberty has missed 9 of its last 10 shots. Trying to become only the 2nd team from the A-Sun to ever make the Sweet 16. It was Florida Gulf Coast, their epic run in 2013. The upset over the 2-seeded Georgetown Hoyas. Eventually saw their dream end to the games. Holmesley off again from deep.
And I know Richie McKay is a little frustrated right now. Doesn't like the fact that it's just one dribble and you take a three. You're not exploring the defense. When they had success in the first half, they were forcing the defense to play.
Alexander Walker. It's a 7-point lead with under 4 minutes left.
And right now, if you're the Liberty Flames, love to see LaVelle being able to break down the defense. He's that one guy that can get his feet in the paint.
Liberty has hit 1 basket in the last 10+ minutes. Holmesley turned back by Blackshear.
I mean, that was the idea, but Virginia Tech's just too good now.
Robinson looking for some quick points. 3:29 left. It's still only a 7-point game. Feels like more than that. Well, I'm not sure Virginia Tech needed that contact so far out. It'll be a 1-and-1 for the Flames when we come back. Virginia Tech hoping for a trip to the degree move of the game. Justin Robinson. He has been the basketball maestro for the Hokies. A huge basket last couple of minutes.
You got to stop the ball, Len, and then when the ball stops, you got to still stay on the ball. Justin Robinson got him a nice, easy layup.
A look at our enhanced stats developed with Google Cloud. And you see what Virginia Tech has done and what has been a terrific season for them. A win tonight for Virginia Tech would set a new school record. Originally established 2009-10 season. The team, of course, coached by Seth Greenberg. First free throw here by Caleb Holmesley is good. Guys, it's only a 6-point game with 3:26 left.
Yeah, and considering the drought that Liberty has suffered, you know, they should consider themselves lucky. Virginia Tech has got to start stepping on the pedal just a little bit harder right now. And Blackshear with 4 fouls, they can try to get as much out of him as they possibly can.
Some long scoring droughts in the second half. As we get a whistle here, it's on Holmesley. Trying to deny Outlaw off the bounce. That last free throw was Liberty's first points in 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So Virginia Tech unable to get the knockout punch just yet.
And you look at it, Virginia Tech playing much better in this second half. Separation, though, even how bad the Liberty Flames have played on the offensive end, they're still just down. They're now 8 now.
Off the inbounds play, it's a Med Hill. And now Virginia Tech can extend to a 9-point lead.
You cannot afford to fall asleep at the switch. Turn your back on the ball. Pacheco Ortiz, you got to see man ball. You can't just face guard a guy. And by that time, it's too late. Whenever you see a guy set up right there in front of the basket, you got to be aware something's going on.
Well, did Hill try to play it off? He was. He was just looking around like it wasn't for me. And he got Pacheco Ortiz on that play.
Hill is senior in his 5th year with the program. He's 20th on Virginia Tech's all-time scoring list. What a career he's put together. And just like that, the lead goes from 6 to 9 here. And it's Virginia Tech's biggest lead of the night. And right now, Liberty running out of time. Open for one last gasp. No buckets for the Flames in 6 minutes. It's a 23-9 run for Virginia Tech.
They've got to be aggressive to the basket now. Virginia Tech in the penalty. Got to be able to get to the free throw line.
This will be a blocking foul. Pacheco-Ortiz, and it is a 1-and-1 for Liberty. Georgie Pacheco-Ortiz, the junior from Puerto Rico. He's an 88% free throw shooter.
A little less than 3 minutes. You want to stop the clock and be able to put points on the board.
And they're doing a nice job on the free throw line in this half. They've only missed one shot, only with one attempt in the first half. They are 8 for 9 in this half.
So Blackshear checked back in. It was a quick rest. He's playing with 4 personals. And a gigantic free throw for Liberty. Well, the Sweet 16 begins Thursday with the Infinity NCAA tip-off right here on TBS, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and that'll be followed by doubleheaders both on CBS and TBS. Winner of this one advances to DC, where Zion Williamson and Duke will be waiting.
Last 3 minutes, Lynn and Spiro, execution, rebound, free throws, everything is going to start to count. When you have a close game like that, 8-point game, it's been very close, and this is where Virginia Tech wants to get some separation. Got to get a stop if you're the Flames.
And if you're Virginia Tech, you're going to take your time, milk this clock, even though you want to execute.
Robinson, turn back. Good denial in the paint by Liberty.
I'm not sure that that's exactly what Buzz Williams wanted. A little too quick.
Keep in mind, Liberty overcame that 7-point deficit against Mississippi State. Actually down 10 with 7 minutes left. Pacheco-Ortiz. A massive 3 for the Flames. And Liberty showing a pulse with... There's your game reset. Liberty down to their final timeout, guys. 2:21 left. Flames still have a foul to give. What about some strategy here with 2:21 left?
Well, if you're the Liberty Flames, you want to play solid defense and be careful on this screen and roll. Blackshear doing a nice job. And when you talk about on the offensive end for the Flames, they got to keep shooting the 3-ball. 29 attempts out of 43 because they're not getting points in the paint. Find a way to get some downhill and some kickouts for a spot-up, please.
Yeah, they got to increase their possessions one way or another, and they got to take the first available shot.
Robinson, the driving kick out to Outlaw. Down low to Blackshear.
Great recovery.
See, they're not in a hurry.
They hit the 2-minute mark. Robinson, that's good. The senior star trying to will his Virginia Tech side to the Sweet 16. He's got 13 points. Only his second game since January the 30th, coming back from that left foot injury. Campbell from deep. It's tapped out by Blackshear. Pacheco-Ortiz knifes into the paint. Off balance. Nearly went.
That was a heck of a try, Lynn. He got that high on the glass. He wanted to pass it out to the corner.
Yeah, that was a backbreaker for them, though.
They got it up on the glass, and it didn't go in.
Liberty had one more foul to give, so it will be a side out of bounds. Another look at the stroke by Robinson. And boy, everything here but the basket for Pacheco-Ortiz, the junior.
And you can just hear the air deflate from the Liberty attempt. Not that they're going to give up, but that was one of those that would have made folks explode out of their seats and gave them an even greater bounce in their step.
Precious seconds coming off the clock. Blackshear so good in the high post. Alexander Walker right back to Blackshear. What court vision by the sophomore. 9-point game.
He makes great decisions. If you're the Flames, you got to go a little quicker now.
Baxter Bell now to Pacheco-Ortiz. Here he comes down the paint. What a denial that was, but the officials say contact to Pacheco-Ortiz in a world of pain. He'll shoot free throws. But right now he's still on the deck. 41.7 left. Georgie Pacheco-Ortiz was had such an incredible season for Richie McKay and the Flames. Very gingerly will get to his feet.
It was a good block, just body contact.
Well, Georgie Pacheco-Ortiz has thrown his body around a few times tonight. Spiro and Lynn driving it hard. He's a three-point shooter, but they're running him off the three-point line, and he's done a nice job of driving hard.
Liberty, the 12th best free throw shooting team in the country. And Pacheco Ortiz is their best, 88%. 8-point game. Another look at that last sequence.
Nikhil Alexander-Walker. You can't teach that. That's just a good feel. Being able to knife through the defense and have the vision and put it right on time to Blackshear.
Free throw good. First time we've seen Keegan McDowell tonight. Sophomore from Cincinnati checks in.
He's
for the first time for Liberty in the tournament.
He's in to play the foul game. Now, right now, it's just going to have to come down to Liberty's got to extend the ball game.
Get the blood flowing for that young man, and mission accomplished. As he assists in that foul, as Blackshear will make the long walk to the free throw line with 40.7 seconds left, and it will be a 1-and-1 for Virginia Tech's big man. One championship is true martial arts. MMA legends Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson and Eddie the Underground King Alvarez will compete in their debut One Championship out March the 31st. Stream A New Era Sunday, March 31st on BR Live. What an incredible run it has been here in San Jose. We saw 3 upsets on Friday. And now Virginia Tech trying to end what has been a dream season for Liberty and their fans that have made the trek from Lynchburg, Virginia. The winner advances to take on Duke on Thursday night. Virginia Tech did have that impressive home win over the Blue Devils at the end of February. They won that game without Justin Robinson, of course. And Buzz Williams hoping to get another chance against the Blue Devils.
36 seconds left. Yes, love to see him drive it.
Holmesley, strong move to the cup. 31.4. Liberty 17 fouls, so bonus for Virginia Tech. First 2-point basket for the Flames, by the way, since the 16:59 mark of the second half.
That's a smart play to get the quick bucket. You know Virginia Tech is not going to foul you, so you take it hard quickly, and you get back and extend the game.
Holmesley, the 30-point performance on Friday against Mississippi State. But tonight just did not have the answers against this Virginia Tech defense.
Actually, I should say, you know, they're not supposed to foul you quickly.
Right.
We've seen teams do that before, make that mistake.
From Holmesley, you know, struggling tonight, and also Lynn, looking at Scotty James, just 4 points. Those two guys, they needed one of those guys to come up with a decent game and another one to have a good game. And Scotty James, I thought he would definitely have a better game after the first one.
Down to 20 seconds. Holmesley on a 3, won't go. And now that party will begin behind the Virginia Tech bench. Liberty's season will come to an end here in San Jose as the final seconds come off the clock. As the Hokies dance will continue. For only the second time in school history, Virginia Tech is past the second round, and they have punched their ticket to the Sweet 16. NCAA tournament field expanded in 1975 from 25 to 32 teams. That's when the term Sweet 16, of course, was born. So technically their first ever trip to the Sweet 16. And something special is brewing in Blacksburg behind Buzz Williams. What a moment for Virginia Tech.
You know, we had something to do with expanding the team. My Maryland team of 1974, top 4 in the nation, but because we lose to #1 NC State, we don't get to go. And I think the NCAA finally found out the absurdity of having that rule, and they expanded the field. But somebody else can benefit from it. What that?
I can see, man. You said.
Thanks, Spiro.
Thanks. You're looking at Spiro like, thanks.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, fantastic job by Virginia Tech.
Standing by with Kerry Blackshear.
Kerry, it wasn't a high-scoring affair, but how did your defense grind and wear them down over the course of the game?
They're a really good shooting team, really well-coached team, and those guys hit big shots, and we try to slow them down as much as possible with our energy.
What did your offense figure out in the second half? It seemed like you and the team asserted yourself in the paint more.
Just being aggressive, playing how we normally play, looking for each other, running in transition. I think getting stops help that, gives us momentum, and then we can go score with anybody, I think.
And congratulations, you make it to the Sweet 16. Next up, you're going to play Duke. Yeah. Now, I know you've already beaten them this season, but it was without Zion Williamson. How much can you take from that win knowing he wasn't in the game?
He's a really good player. We were missing J-Rob. He's a really good player, too. And we're excited to have a neutral site a game. And on Washington, D.C., our fans will be there. We're excited.
What's important to not get caught up in all of the Duke hype and keep them human when you face them?
Just stay locked into what we do. We don't care what team we're playing, anywhere. Just stay locked in on both ends of the floor, and we got a chance.
Yes, you do. Congrats. Good luck in the Sweet 16.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right, Rise, what a night for Kerry Blackshear, and what a heavyweight fight that's going to be between Virginia Tech and Duke as they will meet in the Sweet 16 on Friday night in our nation's capital. Congratulations to Richie McKay and Liberty. A fine season, but it all comes to an end at the hands of the Hokies. 67-58, your final score. Tune into TNT and True TV now for live second-round games. Coming up on TBS, number 13, UC Irvine, and number 12, Oregon. We'll send you to our studio.